General Hospital fans crown the winner in Jason and Drew's brutal fight with no doubt. After Drew and Jason's epic showdown on General Hospital, fans are drawing their allegiances. During Friday's episode of the soap opera, both Drew and Jason were forced to deal with the fallout of their fight. However, they didn't seem to both leave with the same injuries. Carly approached Jason out of concern, noting that Christina thought he looked like Jason had been in an accident, but there were not visible injuries on his face or body. On the other hand, Drew's jarring appearance on the show left fans with the impression that he did not, in fact, come out victorious. Rick went over to visit Drew, and when the politician came to the door, he was immediately shocked. "Whoa, what happened to you?" he asked with a concerned expression. General Hospital fans think Liz is out of bounds telling Portia about Finn's drinking. General Hospital fans slam show's waste of screen time as plot attempts to redeem hated character. Unlike Jason's face, Drew's was covered with marks and bruises. He was even nursing his wounds with a massive bandage on his face. Blood still seemed to cling to his face as a bloody lip protruded against his skin. Drew claimed his injuries came from a minor accident, which Rick didn't fully buy as an excuse. For fans, the visual injuries were telling. And once again, if there was ever a doubt on who won the fight, Drew's face versus Jason's face, wrote one on X, formerly known as Twitter, alongside photos of their faces. Team Jason, another fan declared. After learning more about what happened, Rick, the lawyer that he is, begged to press charges against Jason. The idea was axed, though, after Rick accused Drew of not being fully truthful about his side of the tale. He started to let him on the secret a bit, explaining to Rick that he was messing around with Willow behind the scenes, but that was enough for Rick to drop the litigation idea. Some fans were really hoping to see how this would all play out in court. After all, as Rick learned, there is far more to the story that could get drudged up in front of a judge. One fan wrote, "As if he never provoked Jason into a right years ago. Jason is a wimp. If I were him, would have dared Drew to press charges, then tell him to tell the police why I beat his ass." The tension in the air was palpable as Port Charles gathered to witness a showdown that had been building for years. Jason Morgan and Drew Kane, brothers not by blood, but by circumstance, stood face to face in the dimly lit gym. Their shared history, love triangles, and years of misunderstandings had finally reached a boiling point. Tonight, they would settle the score in a brutal fight. The event had captured the imagination of General Hospital fans worldwide, who debated endlessly on social media about who would emerge victorious. "Jason's the obvious winner," tweeted one fan. "He's been through more fights than anyone in Port Charles." Another chimed in, "Don't underestimate Drew. He's been a Navy SEAL. He's tougher than Jason thinks." The Port Charles Athletic Club had been transformed into an unofficial arena for the evening, with locals packing the sidelines and watching the drama unfold. Sonny Corinthos and Carly Spencer stood in one corner, their faces a mixture of concern and anticipation. Sam McCall sat a few rows back, her hands clenched into fists, unable to mask her worry. This wasn't just a fight for the brothers. It was a reckoning for everyone who had been caught in their tangled web. As the bell rang, Jason and Drew circled each other, their expressions a blend of determination and raw emotion. Jason's stone-cold focus was a sharp contrast to Drew's fiery resolve. Both men were fighting not just for their pride, but for something deeper, their place in the world and in each other's lives. The fight began with measured strikes, each testing the other's strength. Jason landed the first punch, a quick jab that Drew absorbed without flinching. Drew countered with a powerful hook that sent Jason staggering but not falling. The crowd erupted, some cheering for Jason's resilience, others applauding Drew's strength. "Jason's not giving up," Sonny muttered to Carly. "He never does," Carly replied, her eyes glued to the action. As the fight intensified, so did the emotions. Jason's strategy was calculated, his years of working as Sonny's enforcer evident in his precise movements. Drew, however, fought with raw intensity, channeling the years he spent trying to reclaim his identity. Every punch was a statement, every block a reminder of his resilience. Midway through the bout, Jason landed a brutal uppercut that sent Drew crashing to the mat. Gasps echoed through the gym as Drew struggled to his feet. Blood trickled from the corner of his mouth, but his eyes blazed with defiance. "I'm not done," Drew growled, wiping his face with the back of his glove. Jason's expression didn't waver. "Neither am I." Drew charged at Jason with renewed energy, delivering a barrage of punches that forced Jason to retreat. The crowd roared as Drew's relentless attack pushed Jason into a corner. But just when it seemed Drew had the upper hand, Jason ducked under a swing and countered with a devastating blow to Drew's ribs. The tide turned again, each man refusing to yield. The crowd was on their feet, their cheers a deafening roar. The intensity of the fight mirrored the brothers' complicated history, each punch symbolizing years of betrayal, loyalty, and unspoken words. For a brief moment, their eyes met, and an unspoken understanding passed between them. This wasn't just about who was stronger or tougher. It was about exorcising the ghosts of their past, finding closure in the only way they knew how. As the final round approached, both men were visibly exhausted. Sweat dripped from their faces, their movements slower but no less determined. Drew landed a hard punch to Jason's jaw, but Jason responded with a perfectly timed roundhouse kick that sent Drew sprawling once more. The crowd held their breath as Drew struggled to rise. Jason stood over him, his fists clenched and his chest heaving. "Stay down, Drew," Jason said, his voice low but firm. Drew glared up at him, defiance burning in his eyes. Not a chance. With a roar, Drew launched himself at Jason, tackling him to the ground. The two men grappled, their sheer willpower driving them forward. Finally, Jason managed to break free, pinning Drew to the mat with a final decisive move. The referee's whistle blew, signaling the end of the fight. Jason rolled off Drew, both men lying side by side, panting and battered. The gym erupted into cheers and applause, the tension finally breaking. As Jason was declared the winner, fans took to social media to share their reactions. There was no doubt Jason would win. One user posted, "He's the OG." Another wrote, "Drew may have lost, but he proved he's just as much of a fighter as Jason." Back in the gym, Jason extended a hand to Drew, helping him to his feet. For a moment, they stood in silence, their rivalry momentarily replaced by mutual respect. "You fought well," Jason said. "So did you," Drew replied, a small smile breaking through his bruised face. The fight may have crowned Jason as the victor, but for the fans, and for the brothers themselves, it was more than just a battle. It was a catharsis, a step toward healing the fractures in their relationship. As the crowd began to disperse, Sam approached them, her eyes brimming with tears. "Are you two done trying to kill each other?" she asked, her voice trembling. Jason and Drew exchanged a look before nodding. "For now," Jason said, a rare hint of humor in his tone. Drew chuckled, wincing at the pain it caused. "Yeah, I think we've made our point." The gym emptied, but the echoes of the fight lingered. Port Charles had witnessed an unforgettable moment, one that would be discussed for weeks to come. Jason Morgan may have won the fight, but both brothers had gained something far more valuable, a chance to rebuild, to move forward, and perhaps to finally find peace. As the door closed behind them, the crowd's chants of "Jason, Jason," still ringing in their ears, one thing was certain: this was a night General Hospital fans would never forget.